You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. That's the only words I know of that song. I just realized, or I just heard that they're coming out with a Toy Story 5. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Why did they make a Toy Story 4? I mean, you go back and you look at Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 had one of the most perfect endings to a trilogy ever. When people talk like GOAT trilogies, they never talk about Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. That's up there. That's up there with Back to the Future. That's up there with Spider-Verse as soon as Spider-Verse comes out. That's up there with the original Star Wars trilogy. That's up there. But I think it's not talked about because they kept making it because Disney loves to just wring their franchises out. Right, and I know that's nothing new. That's not a take. That's not, you know, groundbreaking information, but they just love to beat the dead horse until it died in at least 10 lives. Because they forgot that the cat is the one with 9 lives. I don't know why I tried to turn that into a battle rap. Jackie's got a sports show. You just tuned into that sports show. How you doing? How you living? How was your weekend? How's your Monday going? How's work going? How's school going? Whatever it is. If you're listening to this in school, hey, pay attention. Pay attention, right? But Jackie's got a sports show. I appreciate you for tuning into that sports show. You may be seeing that I changed the name to Jackie's Sports Show instead of just Jackie's Got a Sports Show. I might do that just because the logo says Jackie's Sports Show. My Twitter name is Jackie's Show. There's a couple things. I might just change it to Jackie's Sports Show. Still keep the intro because I think the intro rolls nicely off the tongue and the outro. Jackie's got a sports show. You're tuning into that sports show. That's a decent original intro. One second. If I'm not yawning, I'm coughing the entire show. Got a nice little show to get into. Gonna talk some college football. Gonna talk some NFL. No real basketball stories, no real baseball stuff, no real hockey stuff. Even though I don't talk about hockey at all, and I'm not going to talk about baseball until spring comes up, and I don't even know if I'm going to talk that much basketball, but I just gotta let you know. We're going to talk about Washington beating Oregon State. We're going to talk about the Heisman race between Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. We're going to talk about the Jordan Travis injury. And then for the NFL, we're going to touch on some Justin Fields. We're going to touch on some Commanders, probably just make fun of them a little bit. And should Mike Vrabel be fired in Tennessee? Let's get right into it. So Washington goes into Oregon State this past weekend, and Washington wins 22-20. And I say every time I talk about Washington, I say this on the TikToks, I say this on the podcast. I haven't said it yet on Twitter, but I would say it on Twitter. Washington's defense is not a good defense on paper. Not a good defense on paper, ranked 199th. But when Washington needs that defense to show up, they will show up. 4th and 5, Oregon State is driving. Oregon State is running the ball down Washington's throats, looking like they can't stop them, looking like they're going to ring the clock and then kick a game-winning field goal. And then bam, 4th and 5, completely stuffed. Out of Washington. Washington should be ranked in the top 4. They should be pushed to the top 4 by now, ahead of Florida State, probably ahead of Michigan, ahead. And you can have your arguments for Ohio State, and you can have your arguments for Georgia. But I did come out of this game worrying about. Am I loud enough, by the way? Worrying about. I came out of this game worrying about Washington because they tend to struggle against really good defenses. Oregon State has a great defense, not elite, but a great defense, and they really struggled. Now you can put an asterisk to that. I think the microphone is too sensitive now. Sorry, I'm messing with it so much. You can say that the weather had a big play in it. It was pouring for the first 3 quarters. It was really on and off. The rain never really stopped, but it would severely fluctuate in intensity, right? So you could say that Washington's offense, like, that had a big effect on it, but I gotta keep one earphone off. No, I'm not. We are struggling right now. Reset. You could say that their struggles were because of the rain. I don't know because we've seen Washington struggle against great defenses. The only defense they really didn't have a lot of trouble with was Utah, and even then, they struggled a little bit. I struggled a little bit, so that worries me when Washington is going against a Michigan, when Washington is going against a Georgia or an Alabama. Do they struggle enough against those defenses to where they fall? They fall. The more I watch Washington play or listen to them play or what have you, the more I don't trust them. And it's because of their defense, or not, it's because their offense struggles against the defense. The defense, of course, but as I said, the defense is going to show up, and Washington needs the defense to show up. Can you win everything if that's the only good thing you can say about your defense? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Now, Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis broke, I believe, his leg, something in his leg, had to get to the hospital for surgery. And Florida State, I think it was against South Alabama, South or North Alabama, struggled in the first quarter or so, then ended up running away with it. I think the ending score was like 58-13. But Jordan Travis is out for the year. And I don't know how to feel about Florida State now. They managed to make it happen against North Alabama. But right now, as it sits, who do they play in the ACC championship? I would think North Carolina. That was loud. I would think North Carolina. Oh no, it's looking to be Louisville, actually. Hold on, is that true? I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I don't know why that. I'm acting like that surprises me. North Carolina has fallen all the way to 5th place in the ACC. Drake May and North Carolina has fallen all the way to 5th place behind Georgia Tech and behind NC State. That is ridiculous. That team got hit in the mouth and has not gotten back up. Oh my God. Let's look like Florida State and Louisville. Louisville's a tough team. Louisville's a tough team. I'm not confident that Florida State I'm sorry for that side piece. I should have wrote that down. But I don't know if Florida State can make it out. And if Florida State does not make it out, that opens up bad possibilities, my friends. Bad possibilities. Because they're not letting, if Louisville wins the ACC, Louisville faces Florida State in the ACC championship and Louisville pulls it out, they're not letting Louisville into the playoffs. They're not. Should they? I don't know. That's certainly a debate. They only have one loss, but that one loss was pretty bad, which opens the door for something I've been afraid of for a while. Alabama and Georgia in the playoffs this year. If Alabama goes in and wins the SEC championship, they're both going to be in the playoffs, especially if Florida State loses. Florida State loses, and then even if Florida State wins but Washington loses, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, I hate it because the argument, this is what I see going forward for the college football playoffs. I see, and my prediction is fully that Georgia's going to beat Alabama in the SEC championship, and Michigan is going to beat Ohio State. Florida State's going to lose the ACC championship. So that means there is going to be 2 open spots. 2 open spots in the college football playoffs because Georgia and Michigan will be in. And the next two will be what should happen is the winner of Oregon and Washington. I'm going to try not to pick the mic. The winner of Oregon and Washington, which right now I'd feel very confident in Oregon. And then Texas, if Texas wins the Big 12, because they beat Alabama and they'd be a conference champion. That's the fear, right? What if Oklahoma gets hot? Big 12 championship, Oklahoma beats Texas, and the Big 12 eats each other. And now it's a Georgia, Michigan. Georgia, Michigan. Well, I guess we wouldn't get an all SEC championship. So that's no, because one plays 3 and 2 plays 4, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I thought 1 played 4. Does 1 play 4 and 2 plays 3? I think it's 1 plays 4 and 2 plays 3. So it'd be Georgia and Alabama in the first round, and then Michigan and Washington, or no, Michigan and Oregon in the second round. So I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Probably get an Oregon, Georgia thing, which would be cool, which would be very cool because Bo Nix, played at Auburn, yada, yada, yada. This is just a ramble about the college football playoffs, but it's looking more and more and more and more and more like we're going to get a 2 SEC team college football playoffs, which is going to be so annoying. And when that happens, if that happens, right? Because like I said, Texas has to lose and Florida State has to lose the ACC championship. That's what has to happen in order for Alabama to get into the SEC championship, or Georgia to get, or Alabama to get in the college football playoffs, or Georgia to get in the college football playoffs. Washington or Florida State loses and Texas loses. That's what needs to happen. Unfortunately, I think even if Texas wins and even if Florida State wins, even if Texas wins and there's an open spot in the college football playoffs, they're going to give it to an SEC team, especially if it's Georgia, which sucks. Which is why, and like I said before I interrupted myself, in bowl season, I am going to make sure I make several videos about the record the SEC has in the bowl games because it's very average. It's very average. Everybody likes to pretend and everybody likes to tell you that the SEC is a powerhouse and the SEC is so far ahead of everybody else. It's not. And I will make sure that I keep track of the SEC's record in the bowl games. With how bad I talk about the SEC, with how bad I talk about them, I get a lot of people saying that I just hate the SEC. I'm just a Big Ten fanboy. I don't know why they picked the Big Ten, but I'm a Big Ten fanboy. So y'all know, I'm a Tennessee fan. Is my voice shaking, by the way? It's cold in the house. I'm a Tennessee fan. I grew up thinking that the SEC was college football. I thought there was no college football outside the SEC, which is a testament to how seriously people take the SEC down here. But I just hate objective lies, objective myths. You know what I'm saying? And the objective myth is that the SEC is not some big, scary powerhouse conference. It's just not. It's not. And we got to stop acting like it is. Is it the best conference in college football? Maybe. It's debatable. I think the Pac 12 has a debate to be better this year. The ACC has a debate to be better this year. Just my 2 cents. I think the worst one is definitely the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is objectively the worst conference in college football. But, So let's move on to our last college football little story. The Heisman race. The Heisman race is looking to be a 2-man race between Bo Nix and Jane Daniels at this point. Give me 1 sec. A little zero sugar orange soda because I'm trying to convince myself that it's healthy, that I can still drink soda and be healthy. Bo Nix for Oregon, Jane Daniels for LSU. Now to go over their stats, and I'm sorry, let's up the energy. Heisman, best player in college football. Well, best quarterback in college football. Best quarterback of this season. By the way, hold on 1 second. Let's get in. Let's get this little rant out there. I've heard some people say, "Oh, if the Heisman Trophy is supposed to be towards the best player in college football, which the best player in college football is Caleb Williams." It's debatable. A lot of people say Marvin Harrison. A lot of people will pick out whatever their favorite edge rusher right now is. Jared Verse, maybe. A lot of people will say that. And that is so stupid. A lot of people say, oh, since it's the best, it's for the best players, should go to the best player every year. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I know some people may listen to this and say, Jack, I've never heard that. I've heard it. So I'm talking about it. And I've even heard it being said like, oh, it's like LeBron with the MVP. He's the best player in the world, so he should get the MVP every year. What? What? Do I have to explain to you how stupid that is? Hopefully not. So let's get right into the news. Oh, Nix. Let's just go stat wise right now. 78% completion percentage, 3,500 yards. Well, to be precise, 3,539 yards, 35 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, 191.4 rating, and 5 more rushing touchdowns. Insane year. Also leading Oregon to a 10-1 record, one of the best offenses in college football. Possible college football playoff berth if they can beat Washington in the Pac-12 championship. Phenomenal season for Bo Nix. He should be number 2 or number 1 or number 1. Maybe I just showed my hand over who I'm favoriting, and that sucks. Let's go over Jane Daniels. Jane Daniels' case for the college football Heisman Trophy. 72% completion percentage, a little less, but 3,577 passing yards. That is almost 40 more. I completely split that in half, almost 40 more yards than Bo Nix. 36 touchdowns, 1 more touchdowns, but 2 more interceptions with 4 interceptions and a 208.3 quarterback rating, which is more. Also, 1,000 yards rushing, 10 rushing touchdowns. So if you just look at the stats, the clear winner is Jane Daniels, in my opinion. My opinion. Clear winner is Jane Daniels. The thing that will hold him back, and the little trivia question got asked while the Washington Oregon State game was going on. Who was the last 3-loss quarterback to win a Heisman Trophy? And it was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had a pretty similar season. But that's the problem. Oregon could possibly win the Pac-12 championship. And if they get into the playoffs, they have a very good chance at being national champions. And if that happens, I know the vote happens right before the national championship, or at least historically it has. Pretty sure it still does. I think if Oregon wins the Pac-12 championship, makes it into the college football playoffs, and then makes it to the national championship, I don't think it goes to anybody else except Bo Nix. Has the stats, has the team in the college football playoffs. LSU has been pretty disappointing at times. 8-3, no conference championship berth, no college football playoffs. And I'm saying this like it's immediately going to be Oregon and Washington in the Pac-12 championship. That's not true. Arizona is still fighting for a spot in that, which is hilarious, which I absolutely love. But in my personal opinion, who has played better overall in this college football season? I think it's been Jane Daniels. You can, oh, oh man, there's definitely an argument, and stat wise, absolutely. But has Jane Daniels showed up and done enough in the big moments against Ole Miss, against Alabama, against Florida State, or week 1 of the season. Bo Nix showed up against Washington. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's really a coin flip. It's really a coin flip. But honestly, in my personal opinion, I think it goes to Bo Nix. I think it goes to Bo Nix. He's probably leaving for the draft. I don't know if James Daniels is or not. I don't think he is. I think he's coming back for one more year, which he probably will be the front runner for it next year. Bo Nix has Oregon in a very good spot. Bo Nix is playing very good, and Bo Nix has showed up in very important games. So, in my personal opinion, the 2023-2024 college football Heisman Trophy winner should be Bo Nix. Should be Bo Nix. Let's move on to the NFL. I'm very upset, by the way, because I dropped my wedding ring. My wedding ring has a chain on it that I can move when I'm feeling a little anxious. Don't ask. And I dropped it, and that sucks. That sucks. I'm acting like I'm anxious right now. But NFL. We'll go to the short story first. One that I was surprised by and one that I'm disappointed by. The Washington Commanders got absolutely cooked by Tommy DeVito. They were cooked by Tommy DeVito. I get it. Division rival. Weird stuff always happens in division games. But the Giants are a complete laughingstock. The Giants are awful. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The Giants are a terrible football team with Tommy DeVito as their quarterback. This is unacceptable. And Sam Howell did not play good. I believe in Sam Howell. I see a lot of people now talking about how he should be replaced next season, which is ludicrous. It's his first starting season as a quarterback. Y'all already know how I feel about that. If you don't, give the quarterback 2 years. 2 years, especially when you're the Commanders and you're not doing anything. It's not like you absolutely need a quarterback and you plug a quarterback in there and you're Super Bowl contenders. You're not. You're building towards one. So see what you have in the young guy. And Samuel Howell has showed signs of being a phenomenal quarterback. Does he need to clean up a lot of things? Absolutely. Sometimes his decision making is very head scratching. So he underthrows a lot. He can be very inaccurate. There's stuff that Samuel Howell needs to clean up. Does that mean he's a bad quarterback and the Commanders need to move off of him? No, he is also a young quarterback and he needs to learn. I want everybody to understand this. In the sports world, you have the generational guys that will come in and that will be great. You will have those guys. You will also have the guys that need to come in and learn. They need to come in and learn. And they're going to suck. They're going to look like they suck. They just are. And you need to stick it out with them. You need to show confidence in them in order for them to blossom. Blossom like the beautiful flower they are. I'm growing tired by the second. That is why my energy is dropping. But let them blossom like the beautiful flower they are. You know why Tua is as good as he is right now? Mike McDaniels believed in him. Believe in your young quarterback. Eric Bieniemy will make him a great quarterback. I guarantee it. I want to talk about Justin Fields. Now, the Bears choked. Bears completely choked against the Lions yesterday, or today, as I am recording this. Completely choked. Had the game in hand. I believe they were up by 13 points. 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Really no reason they should have lost that game. And Justin Fields played fine. 16 to 23, 169 yards, had a touchdown, 74 rating, 18 carries for 104 yards as well on the ground. Justin Fields played good. But let's be honest here. For Bears fans that love Justin Fields and believe in Justin Fields, the Bears are going to have a very high draft pick, and it might be number one with how the Panthers are playing. If you have a chance to get a Caleb Williams, to get a Drake May, is Justin Fields' ceiling as high as those two guys? I don't know. Can Justin Fields be a good franchise quarterback in this league? I don't know. I think he can be. I'm in the camp of where I believe in Justin Fields. He's definitely showed flashes of being a really good quarterback in this league. But can he be that franchise guy? Can he be the guy that you can sit down and you can justify passing on a Caleb Williams or passing on a Drake May? I know everybody's loving to talk about Drake. Caleb Williams, give him the Bo Callahan comp. For those who don't know, Draft Day, watch it. It's a good movie. Saying that Caleb Williams might be a bust. But let's say Caleb Williams is bust. Let's say people aren't impressed by Caleb Williams. Drake May looks phenomenal. Is Drake May's ceiling higher than Justin Fields? Maybe. I think you can argue for it. Like I said, is Justin Fields a good enough quarterback for you to justify, like, oh yeah, he might reach his ceiling, even though the Bears franchise does not believe in him? They've made that completely clear. They don't like him. They've made that clear. Do you really think the Bears are going to pass up a Drake May or Caleb Williams and stick with Justin Fields? I don't think so. If he even if he goes out and plays his butt off the rest of the season, I think that's just going to be used as trade value. Look, this guy can be something. You take him. We want these guys. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think for Bears fans that love Justin Fields, I think you got to prepare for that reality, because I think it's the reality you're living in. Let's move on to Tennessee. Tennessee got demolished by the Jaguars. 1 second. Don't even remember the final score. Don't really want to remember the final score, if I'm being honest. And because this is 3 losses in a row, because the Titans have not been good since 2021, people are now calling for Mike Vrabel's head, saying Mike Vrabel should be fired, saying that Mike Vrabel isn't a great coach. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about if the Titans should let go of Mike Vrabel. We're going to do that by just a simple pros and cons list. Pro, Titans are, pro, he dragged a Titans roster to the first seed in 2021, going 11-5, despite having a record-breaking amount of players that he had to put onto a field. I think it was 88 total players that he had to put onto a football field because of injury. And the Titans got the first seed out of it. I know we like to forget everything someone has done for us because of the distaste we have towards them now. But Mike Vrabel did that. And I'm just realizing the camera is tilted, and you're just going to have to deal with it because it's too late in the episode to fix it since we're almost at the end. Mike Vrabel did that, and it takes a great coach to do that objectively. Cons, loyal to a fault. Doesn't want to let go of his guys. Doesn't want to talk bad about his guys unless you're a player. If you're a player, free game. If you're someone on the coaching staff, on the training staff, in the front office, no. He's loyal to you. He's not going to fire you. That was evident with Todd Downing. That's evident with Shane Bowen. Probably going to stick with Tim Kelly as long as Mike Vrabel is there. And it's a good trait to have. Loyalty is a good trait to have. But in this business, I'm talking like a minute. In this business, where changes need to be made, when changes need to be made. I'm sure Todd Downing was a great guy. DUI after he called a decent game, I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure Shane Bowen's a great guy. If you know Shane Bowen, defensive coordinator for the Titans this season and last season, Todd Downing was the offensive coordinator the past 2 seasons ever since Arthur Smith left. He's loyal to a fault, and that's a con, in my opinion. Pro 51-40 in Tennessee. Hired in 2018, so this would be his 5th full season. And he's had 2 losing seasons, 3 winning seasons, and 1 coach of the year. I think that's great. But does it fall under John Robinson building a great team because he wanted to win now, failing, and now looking, trading AJ, one of the worst moves this franchise has ever made? Mike Vrabel was very good. Mike Vrabel was very good for us for a while, for a good while. And he coached the Titans team when the Titans hit their peak 2 years ago. And then 2 more things I wrote down that you could just throw in there. Fails to make proper adjustments at halftime on the regular. The Titans really seem to be a team that's like, this is our game plan and we're going to run it. Don't care what they're doing. It's eventually going to work. And that's just not how the NFL works. And he comes off, and I've said this before, and it still irritates me, comes off as saying and doing a lot of things to spite the media and the fans. I get having a distaste for media and fans, but the sheer amount of it. Do I think Mike Vrabel deserves to be fired? No. If I were to look you in the eyes and tell you that Mike Vrabel deserves to be fired, I'd be lying to you. I wouldn't be honest with you. That is what lying is. I think he is a good coach, and I think that he got stuck with a team that was ready to go, but at a very, very, very short shelf life. Very, very small window that was open because of the contracts that were handed out, because of the decisions that John Robinson made. I think Mike Vrabel inherited a playoff team, and everybody loves to say Mike Vrabel inherited a playoff team and made it worse. No, he didn't. Mike Vrabel inherited a playoff team, and that team was a playoff team for 2 seasons. 2 seasons. And one of those seasons, they weren't even supposed to be in it, and they got lucky. He inherited a playoff team that was good for 2 seasons, and after those 2, awful contracts that were given out, which isn't his fault, and awful decisions made by the GM, like trading A.J. Brown and not paying him, like letting Jack Conklin walk. Several things happened to this team to make this team the team it is right now. That is not Mike Vrabel's fault. Does he have his faults? Absolutely. Does he have his shortcomings as a coach? Absolutely. Is he a great coach? And can he take a good team to the promised land? I absolutely think so. So what do I think should happen with Mike Vrabel? I think Mike Vrabel should keep his job. Coming up this next offseason, the Titans have the most cap space in the NFL. See what Rand Carthen can do with it and see what happens next year. And I'm not saying Super Bowl or bust next year, but if next year we have a solid offensive line, we have a stable wide receiver core, we have an upgraded DB core, and an upgraded linebacking core, if we just have a good team that can make a push for a wild card spot, and Will Levis, like I said, improves, I think we keep him. And I think that shows that Mike Vrabel is a good coach. Again, does he have his shortcomings? Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But I think he's a great coach that should not be fired. And do I think it would be a mistake to fire him this offseason? Absolutely, I do. The only real argument I could see is the fact that you need offensive guys to teach your quarterback. Offensive head coaches and young quarterbacks, that's the trend in the NFL right now. And it works. Like McDaniels with Tua, Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes. It it seems to be the formula. It seems to be the formula that works. But you can surround the quarterback with offensive guys outside your head coach. It's not impossible. Jackie's got a sports show. I apologize for the downturn in energy for the last remaining of the show, and I apologize for the length of the show, but that's just what happened. Follow me on all my socials: TikTok, Jackie Boy Sports, Twitter at JJester615, and at Jackie's Show. Can't wait to see you on there, tweeting out a lot. Trying to get more active on Twitter, but objectively, it's the worst space. It's the worst social media platform. But I am trying. I promise I am trying. Questions, comments, concerns, email me at JackieBoy. Nope. Email me oldjackieboy1021 at gmail.com. That is OLE JackieBoy1021 at gmail.com. And as always, please, please, please like, rate, and share the show. I'll see y'all folks tomorrow. Peace, love,